The US and China are battling it out over trade. But what if that economic war has now triggered real conflict on India's border? Is this just geopolitical chaos or part of a much bigger plan? In early 2025, the United States intensified its trade war against China, slapping heavy tariffs on Chinese tech, EV parts, and AI hardware. In response, global companies began shifting operations to India, seen as the next big manufacturing hub. India responded with major reforms, tax breaks, and supply chain incentives, but not everyone was happy. As India's economy grew, shadows deepened in the north. Then came the spark. A deadly attack in Pahalgam killed 26 Indian tourists. India blamed Pakistan-based terror outfits. Within hours, India cut off talks, revoked bilateral treaties, and moved troops to the border. Pakistan, meanwhile, halted airspace access, increased surveillance across LOC, and made one thing clear: they were ready for escalation. Here's where it gets interesting. China, losing billions due to the trade war, doesn't want India becoming the next global factory. And guess who's always been China's all-weather ally? Pakistan. Strategic analysts now believe China may be provoking India, indirectly, by using Pakistan to draw India into a military standoff. A conflict would make India unstable and scare away Western investment. In the aftermath, PM Modi called leaders of the US, France, Japan, and Australia. India wanted global backing before things got out of hand, and it got it. The US condemned the attack, labeling it state-sponsored terrorism. But China urged restraint, a diplomatic way of shielding Pakistan. Russia remained neutral, though quietly tilting toward Beijing. The European Union issued travel advisories, but stopped short of taking sides. India launched Operation Trinetra, rapid military drills near the western border using Rafales, drones, and precision missiles. Pakistan followed with its own counter-drills near POK. The standoff is dangerously real. As tensions rise, companies are now pausing India investment plans. The very growth that was threatening China is now on hold, and some experts say this was China's real goal all along. The war between China and the US may be economic, but its consequences? Very real. India is now at the heart of a global power game, and it has to choose escalate or outsmart. In the wake of the escalating tensions, India's defense budget saw a significant increase. The government allocated more funds to modernize its military infrastructure and procure advanced weaponry. This move was seen as a direct response to the perceived threats from both Pakistan and China. New Delhi announced a major overhaul of its defense capabilities. Billions were earmarked for acquiring state-of-the-art fighter jets, advanced missile systems, and cutting-edge surveillance technology. The Indian Navy also received substantial investments, focusing on expanding its fleet and enhancing maritime security. Defense analysts believe this shift is not just about immediate threats, but also about securing India's long-term strategic interests. The modernization plan includes indigenous production under the Make in India initiative, aimed at reducing dependency on foreign suppliers and boosting the domestic defense industry. However, this surge in defense spending has raised concerns among India's neighbors. Pakistan, facing economic challenges, sees this as a provocative move. China, on the other hand, views it as an attempt by India to assert its dominance in the region, further complicating the already tense geopolitical landscape. As India ramps up its defense capabilities, the international community watches closely. The stakes are high, and the balance of power in South Asia is shifting. Will this escalation lead to a new arms race, or can diplomacy prevail to ensure regional stability? The international community closely monitored the situation. The United Nations called for an emergency meeting. Diplomatic efforts were intensified. Major global powers urged restraint and dialogue. They emphasized maintaining peace and stability. India's foreign ministry engaged in high-level talks. The focus was on de-escalation and peaceful resolution. Special envoys were dispatched to Beijing and Islamabad. Despite efforts, skepticism remained high. Analysts noted diplomatic initiatives often fall short without concrete actions. The international community's role in mediating the crisis was debated. Public opinion in India was divided. Some supported the government's defense strategy, others called for a balanced approach. The stakes couldn't be higher. Will diplomacy avert a crisis or lead to instability? Only time will tell. As diplomatic efforts continued, economic analysts speculated on the trade war's impact on global markets. Stock markets showed volatility, with cautious investors. Prolonged tensions could disrupt supply chains affecting raw materials and consumer electronics. A South Asia conflict could slow global economic growth. Commodity prices, particularly oil and precious metals, fluctuated as traders hedged against risks. Demand for safe haven assets like gold surged. In India, defense and technology sectors saw a boost, while tourism faced challenges. The government announced measures to stabilize the economy. Global financial institutions monitored the situation, providing updates and strategic advice. The IMF and World Bank emphasized coordinated action. The interconnected global economy meant high stakes for everyone. Nations navigated trade, defense, and diplomacy, while the world watched, hoping for stability and growth. As global markets reacted to the escalating trade war and regional tensions, the streets of India became a battleground. Public opinion was sharply divided, with citizens voicing their thoughts and concerns. In bustling cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore, protests and rallies reflected the nation's polarized views. Some supported the government's strong stance, while others called for diplomacy and peace. Media and social platforms buzzed with debates, as analysts offered diverse perspectives. The government balanced public sentiment with strategic decisions, exploring peaceful resolutions. The world watched closely, aware of the global impact. As the situation continued to evolve, experts debated the potential outcomes. Would India and Pakistan engage in a prolonged military conflict, or would diplomatic channels prevail to de-escalate the tensions? Renowned geopolitical analysts and seasoned diplomats took to various platforms to share their insights. Some predicted that the rising tensions could lead to an unavoidable military confrontation, citing historical disputes and recent provocations. They warned that both nations were gearing up for a substantial escalation, which could have far-reaching consequences for the region and beyond. On the other hand, optimistic voices emphasized the importance of diplomatic efforts and international mediation. They highlighted past instances where dialogue had successfully diffused similar crises. These experts urged both nations to prioritize peace and stability, suggesting that back-channel communications and third-party interventions could pave the way for a resolution. Meanwhile, the international community remained on high alert, with global leaders calling for restraint and urging both sides to engage in constructive dialogue. The United Nations and other international bodies offered their support to facilitate negotiations, hoping to prevent a full-scale conflict. As India navigated these turbulent waters, the choices made by its leaders would be crucial. The path of war or peace hung in the balance, with the potential to shape the future of South Asia. Stay tuned to Rapid Report for the latest updates on this unfolding situation. In the midst of escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, the role of other major powers has come under intense scrutiny. How would the U.S. and its allies respond if the conflict escalated further? Would China continue to support Pakistan, or seek a balanced approach to protect its interests? The U.S., historically an ally of India, faces a complex decision-making landscape. Washington could play a pivotal role in either escalating or de-escalating the conflict. Analysts debate whether the U.S. would deploy diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, or military support. China, a longtime ally of Pakistan, finds itself in a delicate position. A full-scale conflict in South Asia could disrupt China's Belt and Road Initiative. Would China risk its economic interests for its alliance with Pakistan, or adopt a pragmatic approach? The European Union and NATO allies are also monitoring the situation closely. Their response could range from diplomatic mediation to economic measures. The international community's actions could significantly impact the crisis. As global powers weigh their options, the stakes have never been higher. The decisions made by these nations could tip the balance between war and peace in South Asia. Stay tuned to Rapid Report for the latest updates on this unfolding situation. In the midst of this uncertainty, one thing was clear. The geopolitical landscape of South Asia was undergoing a significant transformation. The decisions made in the coming months would shape the region's future for years to come. India, with its rapidly growing economy and increasing global influence, stands at a crossroads. The choices its leaders make now will not only impact national security, but also its standing on the world stage. Will India continue to bolster its military capabilities and assert its dominance, or will it seek diplomatic solutions to foster regional stability? Pakistan, grappling with internal challenges and external pressures, must also navigate a complex web of alliances and enmities. Its approach to the ongoing tensions could either escalate the conflict or pave the way for peace talks. The role of the United States, China, and other global powers cannot be understated. Their strategic interests and responses will either fan the flames of conflict or contribute to de-escalation efforts. The international community watches closely, aware that their collective actions will have far-reaching consequences. As we look ahead, it's crucial to understand that the future of South Asia hinges on a delicate balance of power, diplomacy, and strategic interests. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. Stay tuned to Rapid Report for the latest updates on this unfolding situation. As we navigate through these turbulent times, it's more important than ever to stay informed. The landscape of South Asia is evolving rapidly, and the decisions made today will shape the future for generations to come. Stay tuned to Rapid Report for the latest updates on this developing story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed. Your awareness and understanding can make a difference. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.